Welcome to From Scratch, the podcast where our guests talk about their journey of success and failure. My name is Gjoko. I'll be your host. And today I'll have with me here Tom. If this is something that you like and that you like to inspire yourself or somebody else, make sure that you hit the subscribe and share button down below to share it with somebody to improve their day. Now, Tom, welcome to the show.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
How is your day so far?
It's good. We just begin.
I know we were just talking. It's the day after Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, and it feels like Monday.
Everybody's hungover.
Yeah.
Real quick, if you are a business owner and would like to be a sponsor of the podcast so that we can mention your business either at the beginning, middle, or at the end of the episode, I offer 3 affordable sponsorship packages that fit basically anybody's need and budget. This is a great way for you to connect with the local community and a dedicated audience. I'll put a link in the description down below if you want to check that out. Now back to the podcast. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Let's dive a little bit deeper into who is Tom.
Well, Tom. Tom was born in Poland. I was raised until I was 10. And then we came to the States. And, school started, language started. But it was hard. And then, I don't know. I didn't want to be in school, so I was looking for something I'm going to like in my life. And I got into repairs. We started with repairing cars. But for me, cars were not the deal I was looking for.
Yeah.
So I went to heavy duty. And that's where I'm at today. We open up our business. And we repair trucks.
I would like to go deeper into the
Sure.
why this before. But you said you're from Poland.
Yeah.
You moved here at the age of 10.
Yep.
Any siblings?
Yeah, sister.
Sister, is she here as well?
She here.
Okay.
Yeah, all of us are here.
How was that transition for a 10-year-old from Poland to here?
Well, for me, it was a little harder. For my sister, because she's younger, it was easier. The language was the hardest. So there was no vacation. We went to school for straight 4 years just to get the language cleaned up. So because we had to keep up with the kids in the class, so it was school, summer school, school, summer school.
Holy crap. Were you taking any private classes too after school?
We did, and then we just stayed at school for after school activities, summer school, any available courses, we took them.
Did you know any English before coming
Nope.
here?
Zero.
Nothing.
Yeah, because in Poland they don't start teaching English till about 7th grade, 6th, 7th grade.
Okay.
So I wasn't there yet.
How was the school treating you, like the kids and everything? Cause
Oh no,
it's,
that wasn't a big deal because
No.
there's other kids too with language barriers. So we had special classes for like when you're under the grammar level, you had the group that was in your levels. So first we grew up in Chicago, so we got a big Polish community out there. So it was mostly 50-50.
All right.
There's 50% of kids that didn't speak English, and there's 50% that did speak English, but they always want to hang out with us.
Of course,
Yeah.
you're the cool kid now.
Yeah.
What about your parents? How did they transition? Like, how was the move for them? Because
Well, with Polish community in Chicago, you don't need English because you're gonna go to work, you're gonna work with Polish people. Where you gonna use the English? You're speaking Polish constantly all day long. Yeah, it was harder when something had to be get done around house and you had to go buy something. And how are you gonna buy it if you don't know how to explain it? So it was pictures and drawings or translations or dictionaries. Back in the day, you had a dictionary, and you're with English to Polish, Polish to English, and that's
Mm.
how you got stuff done.
Is there any memory that stood out from that period of time to you?
Oh yeah, one of them was super funny. So me and my dad decided to go to Home Depot.
Okay.
We need a sledgehammer. How you gonna explain you need a sledgehammer? So we said, "Hey, do you guys got a Hummer?" And they said, "We don't sell cars here." And we looked at each other. We're like, "No, no car, no car. We just need a big hammer." Oh, hammer, sledgehammer. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that was the best one.
Did your parents know any English, or they were
No.
the same? Like
It was the same.
were they taking the same class? I mean, were they taking classes as well? Like
They
you?
didn't take classes. They were learning when we were learning. So we were helping them with basic But if there is any issues like English or something, they would call their cousins because my dad's cousins were born and raised here. So they were not far away. Phones were already here. So they did give them a call. Hey, how you say this? Or can you go with me and help me out on this? So that's how it was.
So you already had some family here,
Yeah.
so the transition from Poland to here was a little bit smoother. So it was not like
Yeah.
completely
Yeah.
everything new.
No, no,
Like,
no.
I mean,
No, because my dad's brother, he was here already. His cousins are here already. So it was, just get a housing and we're good.
you were obviously still too young. But what was your dad doing at that time? Was he a
He was
mechanic
a
as
mechanic,
well?
yeah. So he went straight to mechanic. Worked on cars too at the beginning, and then he transitioned to semis. He started with trailers, and then he went into trucks.
As a young kid that just moved from Poland to the U.S., I'm sure is the U.S. like back then, right? We're still
Yeah, we're
back
talking
then,
2002.
2002.
Yeah.
Is it what you had imagined it is?
Um. Well, when we're in Chicago, yeah, because houses are close to each other, community is strong. Kids are in the park all day long. School, park. No time to study. And then we decided to move to Romeoville, where it was still a farmville, and there's like nothing around.
Yeah.
No, you don't know nobody. Houses are spread out. There's one park for a whole neighborhood. Barely no kids in it. So I was like, where did we move? Yeah,
Back to the farmland.
that's it.
Back in Poland, did you have any farmland,
Yeah,
like
we
stuff
had a
like that?
big farm. We had two stables. Let's say each stable was holding about 80 pigs.
Wow.
So we range anywhere from 80 to over 300.
Wow, that
Yeah,
is huge.
because that's what they started. We were growing them for resale for meat. But at that certain time, the pork prices went down, and we had to get out of it.
Was the decision by your parents forced on them, or was it like, you know what, this is not working out, let's go to the US?
No, they just said let's go to U.S. because looking at the prices and the economy that was happening, it was a big hit, and there was no future in it. Where they made the right choice because looking at today's market, I go back a lot, and then nobody in our village has pigs anymore.
Once you moved here, in the beginning, you had a lot of school.
Yeah.
But did you have any dreams, any aspirations of, I'm here, now I want to become an astronaut?
No, no dreams. It was just whatever flows, it flows.
Yeah.
Went to school. Yeah, I was looking to get into like, college football. But then injuries came in and I said, no, it's not worth it. So then summer vacation came by and, well, let me go try working. So, like typical parents, go work, don't sit at home. I said,
Well,
okay, let me go work.
Eastern European
Yeah.
parents, yep.
So at the age of 17, I was already working. Then I graduated and found myself a full time job on a semi truck tire company, just flipping tires.
Okay. Selling, I mean, buying, reselling, or
No, no, no.
flipping,
I
like,
worked for a company as a service tech. So I was, changing tires on the road.
oh,
When they got called in, they would send me out, or if there's no service call, we would work in the shop.
so you were doing that at 17?
Yeah,
Oh my goodness, because that's a tough job.
it's fun.
Yeah, but when you're exposed it's fun in the summer,
Yeah.
but like in the winters,
But you keep
man.
your condition. You don't got to go work out.
Yeah, that's true too. You don't have to hit the gym after
That's it.
that.
You're tired enough to go home and sleep.
So did you do any other like other jobs besides that, or was that like your main gig that you were doing,
No, like so I tried tires, but of course, when you're too good, you don't get reimbursed for it. So then the winter came by, and back in the day, everybody was like, "Oh, I plow at winter time." I'm like, "Let me try plowing." So then I started plowing for a company, Polish company, and I ended up staying there for 5 years. It was decent money. So after all expenses and equipment, I paid off the equipment within one season. The season
Nice.
only lasts from
Like,
November
yeah.
till April. And in February, my equipment was paid off already. I'm
Oh
like, oh
wow.
wow, I'm staying here.
Yeah.
So, and you had enough, at age of 19, I had enough money that I didn't have to work over summer. But What are you gonna sit at home? Go do this. Okay.
Just to clarify, not plowing the fields, but snow
Snow
plowing.
plowing,
Yeah,
yeah.
like cleaning the
Yeah, so
driveways
I
and
worked for a company that would hire owner operators. So you had to have your own pickup truck, your own equipment, and then they'll supply you with a route that was considered of like 15 or 17 locations. It was strictly like banks, or I would have steak and shake or discount tires.
okay.
So businesses that, you had to do it before they open and make sure the parking lots are clean and
Yeah.
good to go.
Was there a moment where like everything changed and you were like, let me do my own thing now?
Well, no, because I was constantly at home. I didn't feel like moving. um, and then at one point, when I went back to the tire company, and then I was running crazy hours. So I would take my dad with. I said, "Hey, you want to go with me because I'm tired. I don't want to fall asleep." So he would hop in, and we had a few accidents, and he's like, "If you want, let's open something together, but I don't want to see you, get killed on the road."
Right.
So then we decided to look, for a shop, and at the age of 21, yeah, 21, we opened up our shop, just two of us, for the first year that we worked together.
Wow. You were probably more like an apprentice than a owner at that point.
Oh yeah, like both of us were doing everything, and there was no time. Like there was no time from 8 till 6. It was 7 till midnight. It was 6 till 10 at night. No life
Yeah.
until you grow customers. You keep growing more and more business, and then you can afford to hire somebody.
True.
So like we always laugh with one of our safety guy, Pete. He comes in. He's like, "Man, I remember when I came to your office, I couldn't see your desk. It was so messy." I'm like, "Well, thank you."
We've come a long way.
Oh yeah.
Did you feel like you had figured it out? Like, did you ever had that feeling? Like,
Mm, not yet.
that yet?
No, I want to go bigger. I always push myself like, "Hey, you can go bigger. You can go bigger."
From the short times I've met your dad, he is a very hardworking man, obviously, and at his age, he still works a lot.
Yeah,
Do you think you got that from him?
I think so. Yeah, I got a feeling I'm going to be the same way.
Is it more like pressure to be like your dad or like to prove to him, like, I can just work as hard as you do?
No, there's no pressure. It's just we got to a time where I can close at 6 and go home. So I'm already happy with that. Because before it was like, do we go home? Ah, no, let's keep working. But now it's like 6 o'clock, let's close. So we had enough.
Yeah,
Yeah. Do we want more? Yes, we want more.
it's never enough.
No. But, you got to take certain limits because his age, now I got a family, so I want to spend time with my family. And that's why I always say, when there's a holiday, we're closed. Sorry, guys. I know you want to work. I'll pay because it's a holiday, but let's enjoy it with the family because
Yeah,
we don't know how long it's time.
that is true.
Yeah, time flies.
Oh, man.
Like
Peop
we were just talking with my wife. I'm like, can you imagine it's been 8 years? She goes, already? I'm like, yeah.
Did you meet her here?
Yeah, I met her here, yeah. And she came the same year as I did, 2002, to the States.
Wow. Now you have children?
Yeah, three of them.
God bless.
Two
Nice.
boys, one girl.
Okay. Full house.
All full house, full of energy. So I come home all, energized out, and they still got energy.
Like daddy's home.
Yeah, but then he got no power to run around. So
No, that is awesome. So how do you balance that work family life?
just gotta push yourself. Just gotta push yourself. Like my oldest one, he's full of energy. But anytime he's home, I take him to the shop, let him run around, let him start young. Yeah, and there's no time for tablets.
No, yeah.
Let him be active.
How young is he?
He's gonna be 5.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
So
At
yeah.
that age when like everything's like, what is that?
Oh
What
yeah.
does that mean?
There's 100 questions within the stop sign.
Yep. In the time frame you just opened up with your dad.
Hmm.
What does a day look like working with him?
Well, we would come in, um, check the schedule. Of course, your schedule will never match the whole day because you can plan all you want and something comes on and your whole schedule is ruined. But at the beginning, both of us would show up, start our routine. You go on this truck, I go on this truck. Of course, there's phone calls you have to answer in between. Order parts. Parts came in, hop on this truck, fix this truck. Then he hops on that truck, invoice it, pull it out, bring another truck. It will it feels like it's a short day, but if you're working, it feels like it's dragging.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's days where it drags. There's days where it's just like, wow, it's already 5 o'clock. Wow, it's already 7 in the afternoon. So there's days where, you don't want to do it, but there's days like, man, can we have another day like this? So,
Yeah. Did you ever have a time like where you felt like you wanted to quit?
no. No, because like a lot of people will tell me I have this thing that I don't give up. And my thing is I never released a truck that it wasn't fixed. I would push myself even 16 hours on the truck straight, but I had to fix it. I had to get to it. I had to finish it, and then so I can release it.
Yeah.
That's what like if I went home and the truck was in the shop, I wouldn't sleep. My mind was on it constantly. So I was like, no, I gotta go back. Maybe I can find it this time. Or there was days where my dad was like, just quit it. Just quit. Just go home, relax. Your mind's gonna be fresh tomorrow. You're gonna look. I said no. I
You
gotta fix
obsess.
it. Yeah,
So you obsess over like I gotta find a solution,
yeah. So
whatever the solution may be.
that's how I push my guys. I'm like, hey guys, just keep pushing, keep pushing. You're gonna find it.
What kept you going those during those hard days, like where you were like overwhelmed? Things are not going your way.
I didn't have the time where I was just down. If I was down, my wife would call me. She goes, just keep going, just keep going, or don't come home because she knew if I came home, I'll be like annoying, and she's like, oh, come on. But I didn't have a day like that. I would just, even if I have to sit down and just think about it, I would think for like 20 minutes and then just continue because I don't like to give up.
Do you have something that gives you strength or hope or
No, it's just,
will, or is it just like your personality, the type?
it's the personality, but with our Polish community, if you fix something and you do it correctly, 100 people will know about it. Because that guy is going to spread around truckers, and that's how you get your business because they're going to be like, go over there because he knows what he's talking about. And then if one hears, then the other hears, and then they all call you, hey, I got this. Hey, I got this. Can you take a look at this? I've been to this shop and they can't figure it out. Well, bring it in. But I always tell them when they call, I always tell them, you got to remember, I cannot fix this on the spot. So you got to leave it with me and let me think on it. Because some of them are like, they'll drop a truck. I got to load tomorrow in the morning. I said, good for you. So why did you
Good
even
luck.
bring the truck?
So out of all the things, what do you think is like the most complicated thing to run into?
That's a hard one. I had a situation with ABS system. It was an older truck and failed inspection due to ABS system not working. So I did my testings and procedures. Everything's fine, but the light doesn't come on. So I'm sitting, tracing cables. And the one thing that was confusing me was there's no fuse box description. What
Okay.
fuse is for what, or which relay is for what.
Hmm.
So I'm testing it, and then got to a point where I was like already frustrated. I pulled all the fuses out. And I'm like, let me just put one by one. And ends up the relay, somebody was playing with it and put a relay in the wrong spot to disable the system. And when I pulled the relay out, the whole system started working. And I said, man, I spent so many hours on checking cables and somebody just put a relay in the wrong spot.
Holy smokes.
So,
And you can't know because like there is no labels on the
nope.
relays or nothing, right?
So now the best part is how you gonna explain it to customer that you spend so many hours and you just pull
Yeah.
the relay out and fix the system.
Yeah. And you can like do you typically charge for something like that? I mean the hours that you spend or
Well, that's where another part comes in where you got to be fair with customers. Because if if you believe, oh, I spent 9 hours and I got to charge you 9 hours, guess what? He's not coming back to you. So, simple description, checked all the wirings, did all the testings, found that the driver put a fuse in the wrong spot. Just give me 2 hours and be happy with it. I got to, sometimes you got to lose to gain.
yeah.
So, that's how it works. If you lose on the one job, you're going to gain on three more jobs.
It's a give and take.
Yeah.
So you can't always be taking.
That's what I always say. If it's fair for you, it's fair for me. But I spend my time. My employees spend their time. I gotta pay them. So let's all make a little bit, and then you're gonna lose a little bit, but we
Mm.
all gonna end up on the same boat.
You got a family to feed too,
That's
right?
it.
So now you've been doing this for a while,
10 years.
10 years now. So that is, a decade of doing
Yeah.
something. You get a lot of experience, not only of the business, but also on how to grow it,
hmm
right? What does this mean for you now, like at this point in your life?
Actually, for this year, my goals are to expand it to make double the revenue.
Okay.
Thinking about expanding the shop, expanding the offices, bring more people on the boat so we can have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not done yet.
Oh, far from done. I
Yeah.
mean, you're just getting
Oh
started.
yeah, I could say that. Yeah, just getting started.
Is this the way you had imagined success looks like?
No, I was when we were starting it. My vision was like four of us, small office, and now because the way I see how much trucks we can repair, and I have more opportunities, why not use it? But we need more room, so
Yeah.
my drawings are on the board, and we're drawing it out to make it bigger.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
When would you consider yourself successful, so to say? Because in my eyes, you are successful because you're running a shop with how many
We have
mechanics?
16 employees.
16 employees.
Yeah.
That is success by itself,
Yeah.
but you don't see it that way.
No.
Why?
Nah, I don't know. I just don't feel like a big businessman. I don't want to feel like that anytime soon. I just want everybody to be happy. If I can provide somebody a job and they're satisfied with it, I'm happy. So will I be feeling successful? Maybe one day when I'm like 55, 60, and I got, for example, 20 employees. Yeah, I'll be happy. I just like to push myself. I don't like
Hmm.
to stop. Well, there's gonna be probably a time where I'll be like, you gotta take a chill pill and
Yeah.
relax. My wife said it's that I should take it easy already, but I just the one thing I can do is I cannot say no to nobody. Like it's from a fleet manager to fleet manager. You get recommendations, and then you show up to the office and say, "Well, can you handle about 60 trucks? I got recommended by this and this guy." I can't say no. Yeah, I can handle you. Um, I always tell new fleets I do have respect for everybody and I try to treat everybody the same. But if you got recommended by this fleet, I have to take care of that fleet. It's going to be my priority. But I am going to take the same exact care of you that I will for them.
Anybody that's even not
Yeah.
recommended, right?
So, like, for example, you come in and say you got recommended by this and this guy. Just because you only have 60 trucks and he has 200 trucks, I'm still going to handle everybody equally. So, but when there's emergency and his truck has to come in before yours, all of us have to understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would a good day versus a bad day look like at the shop currently?
Oh, a good day is usually on Tuesdays when it's slow. So by a slow day, I mean all trucks are on the road, and we're just catching up with work that any truck that has like a bigger job, for example, a clutch job or a engine tune-up. That's a good day. That's why our tool guys show up those days because we have time for them.
Yeah.
Crazy day, bad day. I would say Thursday, Friday, sometimes on Saturdays when they just all show up at the same time. I'm here for oil change. I'm here for oil change. I'm like, how many more are you guys gonna come for oil change? Or I call the fleet manager, say, hey, is this an invasion of your fleet today? They say, well, they're in town. Well, yeah, you gotta let me know in
Yeah.
advance because we have limited hands. And like, for example, they don't provide you with information. He sends 10 trucks. Another guy sends 6 trucks. You're at 16 trucks and you run out of oil. And
Yikes.
your delivery doesn't come till Monday. So I'm like, guys, let me know in advance so I can order oil. The truck doesn't take 4 quarts. We're looking at 10 gallons per truck. You need at least 160
That's a
gallons. Yeah,
lot,
we
yeah.
do keep about 200 to 300 gallons of oil, but still.
Compare that to when you first started with your dad, when it was just you and him and
Yeah,
like
it was
butter
a
desks.
275-gallon tote, and it would last us the month. Where we have 300-gallon delivery every other week.
Wow.
Well, now we have every week.
Now, does that make you feel, when you think of it like in retrospect like that, do you see yourself grown from where you
Oh
started?
yeah, oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Because like before our parts room, we had a little corner, maybe the size of your like this corner, and it was just fuel oil filters, fuel filters. And right now we have 2 floors of
Yeah.
parts department, and
You have a
like
dedicated guy pretty
2 of them
much. Two?
now
Oh,
because
wow.
we started with one, but he couldn't handle it. So now we have two. We have one that constantly is in there, and then one that helps him around, or he does our quick pickups that like we need a part right now. You got to go pick it up right now. It's fun.
I'm sure it is, but how do you deal when it's not fun?
You just got to keep it calm. You cannot show it.
Because that's a lot of people, right? Like, I'm
Yeah.
sure everybody's got their own mood, their
Oh,
own, like, days.
it's worse than a preschool. Yeah, some of them have super fast speeds that you can walk around him circles and he's just walking. Some of them are not in the mood. Some of them are sick. So I just bite my lips. Just let it be. If, when they do cross the limits, I don't scream. I just call a meeting and I explain to them nicely, like, guys, so for this week, our numbers are super low. What can we do to improve them? Well, we got to speed up. Well, congratulations. You just answered your question. So can we speed it up? Or I tell them, hey, how about we double our numbers this week and the lunch is on me on Friday? Oh, when they hear that, all the numbers are growing.
Really.
Yeah.
So that is a good point that you bring up, your management skills. Where did you learn that?
I learned it from my old bosses or managers. As a human being, if somebody promised you something, you're gonna do everything to get the promise. And if you screw somebody with the promise, they won't do it anymore. So you just gotta keep the promise going. Like this week, I told them, hey, it's a short week. Let's keep the numbers up, but precision has to be there. Quality has to be there because I am gonna be checking it. And if everything goes well, Friday looks like a nice weather out. So let's grill. Oh man, we got a boost in the shop. Everybody started moving this morning.
I bet.
So
If people enjoy working, at this point, it's not working for you, it's working with you.
mhm.
Because they are pretty much an extension of yourself on the floor.
If you're fair and you're honest with somebody, the environment's gonna be like in a better mood. But if you just scream at somebody, guess what? They ain't gonna stay with you. They're gonna be like, "Screw you, I'm leaving." And there's so much other shops and competition that he could go and you know get a job over there. Do you want to lose him? No, because on the other hand, we got shortage. Or you're gonna hire somebody that doesn't know anything, and you're gonna have to teach him again from scratch. Well, yeah, like a boss, I do write out people. For example, a no call, no show, or when I asked you 6 times, put a seat cover on and floor cover, and he comes in the seat, and it's like I'm like, where's your seat cover? I forgot. Well, there's no forgetting because you're gonna forget $500 out of your check because the seat is $500.
I'm sure there is a lot of lessons you've learned throughout, like when you started, even from before. Can you share some of those lessons?
Like every business, you have the bad customer that comes in, but you just gotta bite your tongue and say, okay, have a good day.
How do you deal with bad customers?
You get limits. Like
Right,
we had a
exactly.
situation where a guy came in the office with a hammer. Yeah, and then he was saying, "Oh, if you don't release my truck, I'm gonna make some damage here." Well, I'm not gonna, jump on him, say, "Hey, what are you doing?" Just make it normal. Dial 911 or non-emergency and have them figure it out. That's what they're here for. When you're polite, it's hitting them, not you. So it's like here he comes in screaming,
It
and then all
pisses
of a
them off
sudden,
even more.
yeah, and all of a sudden you're super nice to him, and he goes, "Wait a minute, I'm screaming here, and he's calm, and he's talking to me nicely. What are we gonna do now?" So like, oh, for example, maybe like 2 3 months ago, we had a customer come in, and I was in an office, and then all of a sudden on the radio, I get called in the office, and she goes, "Well, he's screaming here that we're playing with his truck. He literally just got a service done. And now he can't even get on the street because oil's leaking." I go over to him and he's like, "Well, you see this? It was leaking when I brought the truck here, but now it's leaking. So you guys are breaking stuff before I even leave." I said, "Well, sir, um, have you been driving this truck?" "No, it's been sitting for 9 months in the yard." "Well, everything's going to start leaking now because you got a fresh oil and the truck's been sitting. Now you're starting to move. So let me see if it's leaking." So I took a little cleaner, cleaned it out. I'm like, "Turn your steering wheel left and right, and we'll see if it's leaking." So I cleaned it out. He turns back and forth. I said, "Look, it's not leaking. It must be oil." "Oh, okay. I'm just gonna go get it washed." So I said, "Maybe it's time to get it washed." And then he goes, "Oh my God, I feel bad because I was screaming in the office." I said, "All you gotta do is just go apologize, and it's all gonna be good." So he goes in and comes out. He goes, "Man, I feel better now." I said, "Well, yeah, next time just, keep calm. Don't go out."
It's the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, problem, explode.
hmm
Like,
And that's one thing that, like, I just keep it in myself. I would never explode on anybody. If I will explode, I will go behind the shop and explode it into nature,
hmm
but I'll never explode on anybody.
I noticed your dad is like that.
Yeah.
He's a very calm, collected
To a
person
point.
to a point.
Yeah.
Your dad is not coming anymore as often to the
Yeah.
shop. Is Does that mean he kind of passed the torch on to you?
Oh, he passed that a long time ago.
Tell
Yeah.
me about that moment.
Uh, oh, it wasn't official. It's just we got employees, so they started working. So I backed out a little bit. I went into office more sales. Bring the work to the shop and let them handle it. And then he noticed it that we have more employees, so he backed up too, to a point where I just walk around. If there's questions, I answer them, or if they need help, I help. But he was more of a like, let me go bring the trailer, let me go drop this trailer off, let me go pick this truck up, drop this truck off. He's in that position. So I could say I haven't worked on a truck for 2 years.
Okay.
Uh,
Do you feel like you've rusted a
no,
little bit, or
because me and few buddies, we have this thing that twice a year. So what we decide to do is we'll buy like or find old engines,
okay?
and after work when it's nice and quiet, we'll make some cocktails, and then we'll strip the engines apart and from two build into one,
Oh wow.
and then use it. So we just do this now. It's a tradition where we do it twice a year just to keep the you know mind off of
That is an
something.
interesting approach to
Yeah. So once or twice a year, we'll just do this, just to keep going,
right.
bring the knowledge back.
Yeah, yeah, because
Yeah.
engines change, right?
Yeah, and then we'll buy, two, or we have a seized engine, and we got an engine with a good block. We'll swap parts, make it into a running engine, and call it a day. We started this out of nowhere.
Okay.
I believe one of my buddy's trucks, the engine blew, and he's like, "I need this truck like by Monday." I said, "Albert, it's impossible. He said, "Yeah, it's possible. I'll bring a bottle. Me, you, and Luke will stay, and we'll do this overnight." I said, "Okay, good luck." He goes, "No, seriously." He's like, "You know your stuff. I know my stuff. Luke knows his stuff. So if each of us take a side, we should be done by midnight." I said, "Okay, good imaginations." So then that's exactly what happened. Like, 6:30, we changed into uniforms.
Oh my God.
Or we were gonna take pictures of each other because I'm like, "Oh, you look different in the uniform." But yeah, he took exhaust, I took intake, Luki took the rear timing, and we had the engine stripped by 9 o'clock, and then by 1 o'clock at night, it was put together.
Really?
So I was like, "Wow, let's do this often."
Now, for people to understand the significance of this, how much time does it usually take to strip an engine apart and put it back together?
Well, if it's one guy, so to rebuild a complete engine, to pull it out of the truck and rebuild it and put it back in the truck, you got to give yourself about 2 weeks if you got all the parts on the desk. If if to pull the engine out, you need about a day. To put it another day, but to overhaul it when it's out of the truck, you got to give yourself some time because everything has to be dismounted, cleaned, and then sent out for, checking, pressure testing, and then you bring it all back and just put it together. So for a good overhaul, you got to give yourself about 20 hours to 30 hours.
And you guys did it in less
Six
than a
to
day.
one.
In less than a day.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Well, it's something fun.
Like some people do golf.
Yeah.
We take engines
Yeah.
apart and put them together over the
Just to
weekend,
relax.
just to do something different,
Yeah.
to keep our minds
Uh-huh.
fresh. What would you recommend to somebody that is starting a similar business from scratch, pretty much?
A lot of people, when they open up shops, and I did have friends that did and thought it was easy, they jump the boat. And by jumping the boat is they think, oh, I get a warehouse or a repair facility. Oh, let me spend 100,000 here, 100 here, 100 here because I need all this equipment. And then 6 months down the road, somebody owes you money and they don't pay you the money for repairs, and your bills do come in because you got to pay them. You don't have the money, so now the bank is all over you. Never jump the boat. Start it slow, small, and then just keep growing it while you're working on it. So, for example, I could I could say after 10 years, we finally got some new jacks in the shop.
Okay.
Instead of using a forklift, we got safety jacks. So, because I was taught to use your credit lines and limits wisely, because if you get the black hour and you do have to go for a loan and your credit score is low, you're not getting it.
Hmm.
But if your credit is high and you got really good credit score, guess what? You can ask for any kind of line of credit or credit and you'll get it at that point. And if you jump the boat and use all your limits, there's nothing you can use. Just pray that, the bank won't take over. So that's my advice is don't jump the boat.
Do you think, I wanted to ask, do you think community has a role in all of that? Like, you come from a tight knit community, the Polish community,
Hmm.
where you know people, people know of you. Now that you're in the truck repair business, people know that you have this business. Do you think that had any influence on your growth, on you starting like that, or was it was it more like, you have your business, you're looking for customers, not necessarily only Polish?
It's a yes and no answer. Um, so when we started up, I could say for the first 3 weeks, we only had maybe one truck a day. So what are you gonna do? We were watching Netflix. Um, yes, the community, it is big, and did it help? Yes, it did help a lot. It's word of mouth, spreading it, and we started slow. We didn't jump the boat at first because we were planning on opening a shop, so we were slowly buying equipment, And that's why later when we got the shop, it was better because we didn't have to pay the storage that we were renting because we are going from auction to auction or store to store buying. Oh, this is on sale. Let's buy it while it's on sale. And they're closing a shop. Let's go for a liquidation sale. We bought this and this, put it in the storage. So when it came time to open up the shop, we load everything onto a box truck, brought it to the shop. So we already had basic tools like parts washers, jacks, tables, vice, anything that was already there. But it was slowly being bought. So whatever money we had extra. Let's use it. Then when it comes to opening up, we had the equipment. One truck today, one truck tomorrow. Slowly, spread the word, spread the word, spread the word. Um, but you always gotta, you don't know where to call, who to talk to. So you're calling, ordering parts like, oh yeah, you don't have an account here, pay full price. Well, you gotta open an account, build your accounts with dealerships, parts providers, and now the roles have changed because you can say I'm the king because if they're not providing with the service you want, you can say, well, it's either you pick up your game or I'll be happy to move to another dealership and give them the business. So with big revenues, they do anything for you, but you got to be fair with them. So if both parties work, then that's where the success is.
Start small, work with what you have,
Yeah.
basically.
Don't jump the boat.
Don't jump the boat and go
Yeah. Go all
splurge.
out.
Like, yeah, like
Yeah.
100,000 here, 100
hmm
there, like big equipment, big
No.
that. Uh,
You can make it work with small equipment, cheaper equipment. When you get to a point where you do need to spend it, I would spend it then. But there's stuff you can buy as temporaries
so, you,
because you can work with.
right. Did you do any marketing, anything like that in the beginning to
No,
kind of
it was
spread the word?
strictly word of mouth and the community. Well, me and my dad were both known for mechanics, especially out of the garage. So that was already there. Quality was another thing. And then pricing is the biggest thing in Polish community. If you can beat anybody's price, you get the business. Was
To
it
a
hard?
certain level, though, right?
Yeah. Was it hard? Yeah, because you're like right on the margins. So, for example, well, this guy charged me $290 for a oil change. Well, after your expenses and stuff, you're making like $20. I can't do it for $20. I need the overhead cost. So I said, well, I'll charge you 290 too, but add some washing fluid for free,
Yeah.
or put extra grease for free. That got you the business. The little free word got you the business.
You have grown the shop to above what you previously thought you
Yeah,
would get. Can you tell us what it is that you're like? How does your mind work when it comes to that? Like, what are you doing right?
I just try to like push myself, even when I'm at home. Like my wife always says, "Well, when you gonna relax?" Well, I'm always relaxed. But for example, like the other day, I'm just chilling by the pool. I'm already thinking, so for this week, the weather looks good, so I'm gonna be doing this and this. She's like, "What are you thinking about?" I'm like, "Oh, nothing, just relaxing." She goes, "No, you're not. You're thinking because I can tell by your eye movements that you're looking at this and this and this." I said, "No, why you say that?" She goes, "I already know you." So the the thing is, it never stops. As a business owner, there is no pause because you gotta be in front of your employees. So you gotta estimate, okay, they're gonna finish this truck. He's working on this truck. I gotta bring other trucks. Okay, the body shop is finishing up a project. What's the next project? So they don't stop because if I got guys that there's no work, they just go home. I said, guys, it's not about work. You finish a project. How about we clean out the shop a little bit before the next project? Don't just ditch me right now because I'm not gonna clean for you. When there's time to work, there's time to work, but there's time to clean up. So
So accountability.
yeah,
That is, it's definitely a big thing because without that, you wouldn't have a working shop in
Hmm.
the first place. And like we said before, you wouldn't be able to trust your employees, and
Yeah.
they wouldn't be able to trust you, matter of
Oh, yeah.
fact, because they'll be like, what does he know, right? So that plays a big role, I think.
And they come for advices too. Like some of them are like, "Oh, I'm trying to buy a house. What's your opinion on it?" Well, not right now.
But it's interesting because it shows your relationship with your employees, that you're not just, I'm the boss,
Yeah.
you got to do what I say.
Yeah.
But for somebody to feel like they can approach you and be like, hey
Role
Tom,
models.
yeah, like, hey Tom, I want to buy a house, what do you think?
Yeah. Well, that's where seeing one opinion in one step, I could say it's good, and then the other option is bad.
Why?
Because, like my wife says, well, sometimes you got to show them you're the boss, and when there's time to play, you can be their friends. But at work, that you got to be the boss. I said I can't do this because that's what a lot of them like about working for us is the family and friendly environment, and there's no who's the boss. It's they're open to come as to a friend than to a boss. Because I remember when I was working for somebody, like you get called in a boss's office, I'm like, oh man, I did something. Oh, I hope it's not bad. You're already shaking when you're walking. Here, I don't like that. I want them to feel open when they come to the office. Be like, hey, what's your opinion on this? Or how? What are we doing wrong here? Or can you do this for me? I want them to be open. I don't want them to be shaking coming to the office.
Right. Be
Yeah.
afraid to share a
Yeah.
problem.
They think I'm gonna scream, but I never scream because they'll hide behind the truck and sit there, have a cigarette, or just take your time.
Yeah,
I'm not rushing nobody. You need a 5 minute, you need a 5 minute.
that's
So
true.
I'm like that.
Where can people find out more about you, about your shop?
Facebook, Instagram, PKS Truck and Trailer Repair. Beautiful pictures and good videos made by somebody that we know.
Thank you.
Yeah, Facebook, Instagram, or we're located in Crestville. So
Do you guys have a website
we
that
don't have a website. We just use social media.
okay,
Doors are open.
24/7 except
Oh,
holidays?
that's it.
Well, this was Tom, and this will actually conclude our show for today. If this inspired you, send it also to somebody else so that you can inspire their day. But this will pretty much conclude the show. Make sure that you hit the subscribe, share button down below, and I will see you guys in the next episode.